Welcome one, welcome all to my review of The Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered Edition, an absolute gem of a game set in the high fantasy world of Detroit, Michigan. The game begins with the sexy and sultry voice of Patrick Stewart laying down the groundwork for the game and what's been going on ever since the mythic Dawn decided to fiddle with the protective curtain protecting the physical realm from the demonic and fiery domain of Oblivion. A beautifully rendered cutscene plays out and you're introduced to the character creator shortly after that. You begin the game as an incarcerated criminal with the constitution of a sickly sea cucumber and a puffed up snotbag berating you for befouling his prison space with your very presence. A vague memory plays back in your mind. You were arrested for effectively zero-summing the Dwarven race by shoving Kagranak's tools up your arse crack, thus mantling Lorcan and becoming the Shezarine. But what does all this mean, you ask? In due time, my friend. The people that inhabit the world of the Elder Scrolls are a unique and diverse cast, all feeling sufficiently high fantasy. Your choices range from water-breathing axolotls, literal pieces of shit, furries, the British, and sand people. After customizing your character to fit your needs and being unable to get their ears just right, you're immediately thrust into the fun and interesting world of being a convicted felon. You go stir-crazy from the lack of natural sunlight and the noxious stink of your unbathed cellmate and proceed to rip your clothes off, punching the stainless steel bars of your prison cell like a chimpanzee juiced on amphetamines. Suddenly, you hear a voice and briefly stop your drug-fueled rampage, refraining from shoving yet another inanimate object far up your rectum. A group of heavily armed individuals appear, their dark armor gleaming in the dim candlelight, along with an extravagantly dressed old man. Oh fuck, you think, as you come to the realization that this noble must have bribed the guards to come under secrecy to flick your nipples and wear your loincloth as a hat. You back into the corner, ready to go apeshit when suddenly you hear, "Let me see your face." The man was in fact the Emperor of Tamriel, not some Moloch Baal worshipping sycophant, and he's escaping from bands of highly trained cultist assassins through your cell. It's your lucky day, and you might get to see the light of the sun again. The tutorial dungeon is a lengthy process, teaching you everything you need to know, from crafting potions to shanking your enemies with the pointy end of your shitty little dagger. Eventually you escape with your immediate quest being to bring the Amulet of Kings to a monk in the distant Waynan Priory. You could do that, or you could run off in any direction and explore on your own. Either way, the game never limits you and oftentimes rewards players for going off the beaten track. The base source of the game involves you growing and molding your character into whoever you want them to be. There are many factions and guilds you're able to join throughout the course of your journey, and you could choose to become a member of some, none, or all of them if you so desire. You're never forced into anything you don't want to do, and that's what makes it so freeing to play. You start barely able to lift the crushing weight of your ragged and itchy sackcloth pants, your running speed capped to that of a geriatric zombie. But as you level up and dedicate your 12 virtues into the main statistics spreadsheet, you start to pick up on noticeable gains. You'll move faster, fight better, and get to know all the Daedric princes on a first-name basis, from the Lovecraftian hentai monster to the Nereverine's sugar mommy. Combat is a bizarre dance of flailing weapons and exaggerated ragdoll physics. You can block, swing, cast spells, or just stand there permanently paralyzed from being pincushioned with enchanted arrows by some homeless bandit while a mud crab slowly removes your kneecaps. Enemy AI operates on a scale ranging from "damn, I didn't expect that" to forcibly trying to become one with the wall. It's part of the charm. The remaster gives all this a much needed facelift. The lighting is crisp, the textures are sharp enough to cut through scrib jelly, and the water no longer looks like expired Gatorade. Animations are still classic Bethesda, meaning people still walk like they've got watermelons for testicles, but now you can enjoy it in a gloriously modernized version. The central plot revolves around a cataclysmic event known as the Oblivion Crisis. Essentially, the walls between realities are thinning because some guys in red bathrobes decided they were bored painting each other's nails and thus created a wacky zany plan to let a Daedric god slip into the realm of Mundus. You know how it is, boss girl tings. Emperor Uriel Septim dies in front of you, classic Tuesday pranks at the office, and you're tasked with finding his illegitimate son, Martin, voiced by Sean Bean, which guarantees he'll most likely die. You become the central figure in trying to stop the end of the world, all while juggling side quests like solving ghost hauntings, impersonating nobles, and bashing a bunch of arena fighters straight out of their dainty little sandals. But the world doesn't revolve solely around fiery hell portals and destiny. There are factions, and that's where Oblivion's narrative really flexes its role-playing muscles. You could join the Fighters Guild, a noble band of mercenaries with the organizational structure of a wet sponge. Investigate corruption, smash some heads together, and get promoted despite questionable decision-making. Drink some sentient tree goo and spin into a brain-muddled psychopathic rage while being an undercover operative. Or you could join the Mages Guild, where your journey begins by being told that a prestigious guild such as this doesn't just allow random schmucks into the arcane university. You're sent to collect recommendations from every guild hall in the province before you're even allowed to set foot into the university proper. Your journey will have you battling necromancers and delving into arcane secrets. Then there's also the Thieves Guild, which you enter by following a trail of shady rumors and getting blackout drunk with the local hobos. Led by the enigmatic Grey Fox, who may or may not be real, a myth, or just some guy wearing underwear on his head, it's the only faction where your crimes become job experience. Last but not least, you have the Dark Brotherhood, a sort of fantasy DoorDash for murderers. You get in by killing a random person and sleeping afterwards, because in Tamriel, the only thing stopping you from becoming a professional assassin is the fabled 8 hours of good rest. The quests become increasingly unhinged, such as murder mysteries in party manners, where you can get the guests to kill each other off instead of yourself. And if that doesn't sell it, you can kill someone by dropping a mounted minotaur head on them while they're having their afternoon gooning session. Peak stealth gameplay, in my humble opinion. All these factions have their own fully voiced multi-quest story arcs and can even overlap with the main quest at times. While Martin is out there worrying about the fate of the world, you're off helping someone commit tax evasion while robbing your 5th archaeological site while on a skooma-fueled rampage. And you know what? That's okay. Leveling in Oblivion is done by using your skills. Want to be better at running? Then run. Want to be a master of sneaking? Then crouch walk into a wall for 5 hours. Want to learn how to heal? Fall down the stairs and patch yourself up repeatedly. It's a system that rewards dedication and masochism. The leveling system has by and large been fixed, so you no longer end with the physical prowess of a damp napkin without rigorous planning. Lockpicking, on the other hand, is a deceptively simple minigame of broken picks and loud swearing, unless you're like me and beeline straight for the Shrine of Nocturnal as soon as humanly possible. Speechcraft, meanwhile, is a pie chart-esque minigame where you fling emotions at people until they get tired of your antics and agree to like you. Flatter, joke, coerce, threaten. This is how you convince a noble to give you his family heirloom or sell you his last shepherd's pie for a reasonable price. When it comes to alchemy, you're making potions out of onions, vampire dust, and an alarming amount of teeth. The more you experiment, the more likely you are to accidentally create a potion that causes paralysis, disease, and spontaneous combustion. Luckily, it tastes like raspberries though. Enchanting turns your weapons into magical nightmares. Want a sword that sets people on fire, drains their life force, and instantly teleports them into the afterlife? Done. Want boots that let you jump over buildings and instant transmission? You're the boss. The game also lets you create your own spells, which sounds amazing until you realize you've accidentally built a Fortify acrobatic spell that simultaneously launches you into the upper atmosphere and rips your soul from your meaty form. Still, The system is deep, chaotic, and endlessly abusable in the best of ways. After a long and winding road filled with Daedra, monsters, and deeply disturbed townsfolk, you and your buddy Sean Bean finally make it to the end of the main quest. Things escalate into a full-blown assault upon the world you knew. The Imperial City is under siege, the skies are torn open, and Mehrunes Dagon, evil incarnate with a sexy little thong, steps into the mortal realm with a hankering for destruction. You escort Martin into the Temple of the One, while explosions echo throughout the streets and flaming scamps rain from the skies. He delivers a speech, smashes the Amulet of Kings, and turns into a literal, fire-breathing avatar of Akatosh, a divine dragon. He then proceeds to punt Mehrunes Dagon back into his hell dimension in one of the coolest cutscenes in Elder Scrolls history. The battle ends, the dragon statue solidifies in place, Martin is gone. Ascended, exploded, or turned into a lovely piece of masonry, you're left standing there, the lone witness to this biblical showdown, wondering whether you left the oven on back at your Skingrad manor. And the game? It lets you keep going. No cutoff, no thanks for playing, just a gentle push back into the world where you can finally finish that side quest involving Yarn, a head of lettuce, and a lesser soul gem. In the end, Oblivion Remastered is a fever dream in the best way possible. It's beautiful, bizarre, and brimming with charm. There's no other game quite like it. Whether you're a returning veteran or a wide-eyed and bushy-tailed newcomer, this game will remind you that fantasy doesn't have to make sense, it just has to be fun. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm off to mantle the Daedra god of madness and turn my court jester's feet into wedges of cheese.